Everyone tells you to hustle harder, to seek validation, to be louder. But what if the secret to true success is found in moments of quiet reflection? Today, let's uncover why solitude is your secret weapon in becoming the strongest version of yourself. There comes a point in every journey where the noise around you quiets down. Friends drift away, the phone stops ringing, and you find yourself standing alone. For many, this feels unsettling. For others, it stirs fear. But allow me to offer a new perspective. Being alone is not a burden. It is a blessing. It isn't a sign of weakness. It is a mark of strength. Many shy away from solitude because they link it with loneliness. Yet, the two are not the same. Loneliness is an emotion. Being alone is a condition. And within that space lies a deep and life-changing strength for those willing to welcome it. Today, let's uncover 5 powerful truths that reveal why solitude is a force, not a flaw. There will be moments when you find yourself enveloped in quiet. No buzzing phones, no background chatter, no constant demands pulling at you. Just you, sitting in the stillness. And in that silence, a revelation comes. You are face to face with the one person who will always be with you, yourself. For some, this realization brings comfort. For others, it stirs unease. Why does this happen? Because solitude removes the layers of noise, the opinions, expectations, and distractions, and leaves you alone with your own voice. The question is, are you truly listening? Many spend their lives running from this kind of silence. They crowd their schedules with endless conversation and distraction, all to avoid meeting themselves in the quiet. Yet, it is in these moments of solitude that you encounter the most important relationship of your life. Not with your friends, not with your family, but with yourself. It is within this meeting that true self-awareness awakens. Think about it. How can you truly understand your own desires if you are always surrounded by the wishes and opinions of others? How can you pursue your authentic dreams if society's noise constantly drowns them out? Solitude creates a sacred space, a place where you can finally hear the gentle whispers of your true self, asking, who am I? What do I truly seek? Am I living for my own purpose or for the applause of the world? Consider those who have left an unforgettable mark on history. Albert Einstein did not stumble upon the theory of relativity in a crowded gathering. He spent countless hours alone, letting his thoughts roam beyond the ordinary noise. Steve Jobs, celebrated for his groundbreaking ideas, often took long solitary walks. Why? Because he knew that clarity is born in stillness. These individuals did not fear being alone. They pursued it. They understood that solitude was not about separating themselves from the world, but about reconnecting with something deeper, their own truth. Let's bring it a little closer to your own life. Think about those moments when everything suddenly made sense, when clarity hit you, when a deep knowing whispered which way to go. Chances are those moments didn't appear while you were caught up in the noise of a busy gathering or surrounded by a crowd. They showed up when you were alone, maybe driving on an open road, staring at the ceiling in the stillness of night, or wandering quietly through the trees. That's the gift of solitude. It opens up a quiet space where truth can surface. Sometimes that truth is hard to face, but it's essential. In those quiet moments, you start to see yourself without any filters. You recognize the strengths you overlooked, the resilience you carried, without even realizing the talents you pushed aside, and the dreams you buried beneath hesitation and delay. Solitude doesn't only reveal what's strong within you, it also uncovers what needs attention. You become aware of the habits that keep you stuck, the fears shaping your decisions, and the excuses you've been leaning on. That kind of honesty is the starting point of real transformation. Change only begins when you're willing to face what's real. Make no mistake, it's a hard road. Meeting your reflection without illusions, owning up to your faults, your regrets, your hidden wounds, that takes real bravery. It's much simpler to stay distracted, to place blame elsewhere, to move so fast you never have to stop and reflect. But if you want to step into the person you were created to become, you have to be willing to meet yourself fully. And that journey begins in solitude. There's a story I once heard about a man climbing a mountain. At the base there was a crowd, laughter, encouragement, conversations filling the air. But the higher he climbed, the quieter it became. Friends turned back, the path narrowed, and soon it was just him. Each step grew heavier, each breath more labored. But when he reached the summit, standing there alone with the wind and the vastness before him, it hit him. The climb was his alone, the hardships were his alone, and the triumph was his alone too. Life mirrors that mountain. Some people will walk with you for parts of your journey, but the most defining moments, the ones that shape you, you'll walk alone. And that isn't something to dread. It's something to welcome, because it's in those moments that you discover your true strength. Now, some might think, but I don't want to be by myself. I need community. I need support. And absolutely, connection is important. We are built for relationship. But there's a difference between cherishing connection and relying on others to define who you are. If you haven't discovered who you are when the noise fades away, you'll end up molding yourself to fit every crowd you join, losing sight of your true identity. Your real strength is rooted in authenticity, and authenticity blooms from self-awareness. There's also a deep freedom that comes with solitude, a freedom from constant comparison, a freedom to simply be. Freedom comes when you stop living for likes, followers, and applause. Spending time alone shifts your focus. You stop wondering, what do they think of me, and start asking, what do I think of myself? Instead of seeking validation, you nurture self-respect. You realize that the world's approval fades quickly, but the relationship you build with yourself will endure a lifetime. Think of artists, writers, and musicians. Much of their greatest work is shaped in solitude, not because they dislike people, but because they know that true creativity needs breathing room, space to think, to feel, and to explore without interference. Your life is your own masterpiece, but you can't paint it if the canvas is already crowded with others' brushstrokes. Create the space. Sit with the stillness. Listen to your own heartbeat. That's where your masterpiece begins. Solitude isn't reserved for hard seasons. It's a daily tool you can reach for. Take a walk without your phone. Sit quietly for 10 minutes. Journal whatever comes to mind. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It simply needs to be intentional. Small, consistent moments of solitude can reshape how you see yourself and how you move through the world. So why do so many shy away from solitude? Because meeting yourself means confronting your fears. The fear of not measuring up, the fear of wasted years, the fear that maybe you've been traveling the wrong road. But pretending those fears don't exist won't silence them. The only way forward is through them. Strength is born when you can stand in front of a mirror and say, this is who I am, flaws, gifts, and all. And I choose to accept myself because I'm committed to growth. That level of self-awareness isn't given freely. It is forged in quietness, in stillness, in solitary spaces. When was the last time you sat with yourself, away from all distractions? When you listen, not just to the surface chatter of your mind, but to the deeper voices, the ones you bury under busyness, the ones that carry your purpose, your happiness, your peace. Solitude is not loneliness. It is an act of presence with yourself, for yourself. It's about mustering the courage to explore the parts of your soul that crave attention, restoration, and love. And when you meet yourself fully in those quiet moments, you'll uncover a strength you never realized was there. A strength that comes from clarity about who you are, what you believe in, and what you're capable of becoming. And that kind of strength, no one else can touch it. There's something extraordinary that happens when you allow yourself to be alone. Not just physically, but mentally. Stepping away from the noise, the distractions, and the endless pull of the outside world. Have you ever noticed how some of your best ideas seem to appear out of nowhere while you're in the shower, driving down an open road, or taking a peaceful walk? It's no accident. There's a reason creativity often comes alive during moments of quiet. When the world softens, when the constant noise fades away, your mind finally finds room to breathe. That's when imagination stirs. That's when answers begin to show themselves, and thoughts you didn't even realize were there start to rise. The world around us is louder than it's ever been. Notifications buzzing non-stop, conversations filling the air, media pulling at our focus day and night. No wonder inspiration sometimes feels so far away. Creativity struggles to emerge when it's buried under constant noise. But when you step away, when you give yourself the gift of space, it's like clearing a cluttered attic. Suddenly, there's space to think clearly, room to dream freely, room to notice the ideas that have been waiting quietly within you. Creativity flourishes best in an atmosphere of peace. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling. The idea for Harry Potter didn't arrive during a brainstorming session or while scrolling a screen. It found her while she was alone on a delayed train with nothing to distract her but her own thoughts. In that quiet, her imagination wandered freely. She welcomed the idea instead of brushing it aside. What began as a quiet thought during a simple train ride grew into a world that touched millions of hearts. That's the gift of solitude. It gives your mind permission to roam, to make surprising connections, and to open doors to ideas that might have felt unreachable before. You don't have to be a best-selling author to experience a breakthrough like that. You've likely felt it too, maybe while lying in bed just before sleep, when an idea pops into your mind out of the blue, or while taking a solo walk, when an answer to a stubborn problem suddenly becomes clear. That's because a peaceful environment allows creativity to rise naturally without being forced. In those moments, the pressure disappears, the distractions melt away, and what remains is pure, unfiltered thought. One of the greatest gifts of solitude is that it offers a judgment-free space. No one there to call your ideas unrealistic. No one interrupting your thought process. Just you, wandering through the quiet corners of your mind, discovering treasures hidden beneath the noise of daily life. Sometimes the most groundbreaking ideas are the ones that initially seem far-fetched or too bold to even mention aloud. But when you're alone, there's no pressure to hold back. You can dream without limits, allow your thoughts to roam freely, and let your creativity flow. This was true for Nikola Tesla, an extraordinary inventor whose work revolutionized the technology we use today. Tesla spent countless hours, even days, in solitude, immersed in his thoughts. While others considered him eccentric, he grasped a profound truth that many overlook. Silence is not empty, but filled with insight. His most remarkable ideas didn't emerge from noisy meetings or collaborative sessions. They were birthed in the quiet, where his mind was free to explore without distraction. And this isn't just about inventing something world-changing. Solitude nurtures everyday creativity too. Whether you're trying to solve a work dilemma, improve a relationship, or chart a new course in life, time spent alone can give you the perspective you need. It's like stepping back from a canvas to appreciate the whole picture instead of getting lost in the details. Sometimes the solution you seek isn't out there waiting for you to discover it. It's been within you all along, simply waiting for the right moment of peace to come into focus. In today's world, we often confuse busyness with productivity, wearing fatigue as a badge of honor. We rush from meeting to meeting, scroll endlessly, and fill every moment with noise. But true creativity doesn't emerge from a life of constant motion. It thrives in the present, and you can't fully engage with the moment if your attention is constantly divided. That's why some of the most brilliant minds actively seek solitude. They understand that true brilliance isn't found in the chaos. It's found in the stillness. Think of a musician crafting a melody. While teamwork is essential, many songs begin in the quiet moments alone with an instrument. Imagine an artist staring at a blank canvas, waiting for inspiration to guide them. Picture an entrepreneur quietly sketching the idea that could change everything. These creative bursts don't arise from perpetual noise. They come from moments of peace, when the world fades into the background, and you're left with only your thoughts and endless possibilities. But solitude can feel uncomfortable at first. We're so used to constant stimuli that being alone in silence can seem strange or even unsettling. Your mind may flood with random thoughts, old memories, or anxieties. It's perfectly natural to feel uncomfortable at times. But if you can sit with that discomfort and resist the urge to distract yourself, something amazing begins to unfold. The mental chaos starts to fade away. Your breathing becomes steadier, and your thoughts begin to align. That's when creativity flows in, not through force or urgency, but naturally, like a river finding its path. I recall a story about a young man who struggled to generate fresh ideas at work. He was always on the go, constantly surrounded by people, juggling multiple tasks. One day, out of frustration, he decided to take a break for the weekend. He left behind his phone and laptop and spent time alone in nature. At first, his mind was filled with stress and endless to-do lists. However, after a day spent walking through the woods and sitting by a tranquil lake, something shifted. New ideas began to surface, ones that had eluded him for months. By the time he returned to work, he was filled with solutions, creative insights, and a renewed sense of clarity. It wasn't some mystical event, it was the power of solitude. What does this mean for you? Solitude isn't a luxury, it's essential. It's about giving yourself the freedom to step away from the constant noise, to embrace quiet moments, and to let your thoughts wander without direction. Because in that wandering, you may find something extraordinary, a new viewpoint, a breakthrough idea, or a burst of inspiration that leads you down an unexpected path. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Start small. Take a walk without your phone. Sit in a room with no distractions, no music, no screens, just you and your thoughts. Jot down whatever comes to mind. Don't judge those thoughts. Let them flow freely. At first, it may seem like nothing is happening, but give it time. Creativity doesn't always arrive with a dramatic entrance. Sometimes it arrives quietly, waiting to see if you're open to it. And when it does, when the idea clicks, the solution appears, or the inspiration floods in, you'll realize it wasn't the noise that helped you discover it. It was the silence, the solitude, the space you created for your mind to wander. That's where brilliance is born. Not in the chaos or the crowd, but in the calm. Here's an undeniable truth that many people might not want to hear. Sometimes you'll have to walk the path alone. There won't always be someone by your side, a friend to lean on, or a crowd to cheer you on. There will be times when it's just you facing life's challenges, with no one else to turn to but yourself. And you know what? That's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because in those moments and when the world quiets down and the safety net disappears, you'll discover something powerful: your independence. Think of someone preparing for a marathon. No one can run those 26.2 miles for them. They wake up before dawn, lace up their shoes, or hit the pavement alone. No applause, no cheering crowd, just the sound of their footsteps echoing in the early morning streets, and the voice in their head urging them to keep going. That discipline, that perseverance is built during those solitary runs, when quitting would be the easy choice. But in those moments and when they keep pushing, that's where strength is forged. The finish line isn't just about crossing it on race day. It's about every step taken along the way. It's in those quiet mornings and the challenging miles, when no one else is watching, that you choose to keep moving forward. That's where independence begins. It's created each time you show up for yourself. Again and again. Life doesn't always offer us a safety net. Yes, there are times when friends and family are there to support you. But what happens when they aren't around? What about those moments when the phone stays silent and the only person you can depend on is the reflection in the mirror? That's when you learn a vital truth. You don't need someone to save you. You become your own savior. You find solutions to your challenges. You rise above the obstacles, even when it feels like everything is trying to bring you down. Think about the stories of those who have risen from adversity. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. Her childhood was filled with struggles, poverty, abuse, rejection. There were countless times when she was completely alone, relying only on herself. But she didn't let those challenges defeat her. Instead, she used those experiences to build strength, to trust her own instincts, and to keep pushing forward when it seemed like every door was closing. Today, the world celebrates her success, but behind it all are the quiet, solitary struggles that shaped her independence. Solitude isn't just about being by yourself physically. It's about standing firm emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's about making decisions without always needing others to approve. It's about having faith in your choices, even when others may doubt you. When you cultivate that kind of independence, you stop waiting for others to make things happen for you. You take charge of your own life. You realize that your happiness, your growth, your future, everything is in your hands. No one is going to hand you a roadmap. You have to create your own path. There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's true wisdom. But here's the thing. Sometimes to go far, you first need to learn how to walk alone. Because if you can't stand on your own 2 feet, you'll always need someone else to carry you. And life wasn't meant for that kind of reliance. People come and go, situations change. What remains constant is you, your resilience, and your ability to face whatever comes your way. Think about an entrepreneur building a business from the ground up. In the early days, there are no promises, no guarantees of success, and no safety net to fall back on. Long nights spent working by yourself, days marked by rejection, and moments when quitting feels like the easiest escape. Yet those who endure, who lean on inner resolve rather than waiting for a spark from outside, are the ones who reach the finish line. In those critical moments, self-reliance isn't just an inspiring idea. It becomes the true dividing line between triumph and defeat. Steve Jobs once remarked, "I'm convinced that about half of what separates successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. Perseverance forged in solitude during the quiet stretches when nobody else sees your vision but you. Being alone forces you to meet yourself head on, your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. And that meeting isn't always easy. In truth, it can be painful. But real growth is rarely born from easy places. It stems from facing what's hard and choosing to press forward regardless. Along the way, you realize an important truth. The world doesn't owe you anything. No one is assigned the task of rescuing you or handing you a future on a silver platter. That burden and privilege rests solely on your own shoulders. While that may feel heavy at first, it is in reality freeing, because once you accept it, you stop hoping for the perfect timing or ideal conditions. You begin building your own opportunities. You come to recognize that the power was within you the entire time. There's unmatched strength in knowing you can endure the storms by yourself. There's a deep pride in standing firm and declaring, I made it through. I created this. I overcame. No one can strip that away from you. That kind of resilience lays down an unbreakable foundation. Life will send its tests, but when your house is built on the rock of self-reliance, you won't collapse under pressure. You adapt, you endure, you continue forward. Think of athletes who spend endless hours training for their moment of glory. The medals and podiums are merely a glimpse of the real story. Beneath those achievements are countless solitary sessions, grinding through fatigue, battling self-doubt, pushing past pain. No coach can lift the weights for them. No teammate can clock those extra miles. Champions are shaped when no one else is looking. And the same is true for life. Your greatest victories will grow from the quiet work you do in the shadows. At times, people will question your choices, your path, your dreams. If you lean too heavily on approval, those doubts can sway you. But if you've built your independence, the noise won't disturb your peace. You know your worth. You trust your process. You face the silence head on, embrace the solitude, and emerge stronger. True confidence isn't stitched together overnight. It's built through unwavering persistence when no applause is heard. And there's a gift hidden in that solitude. It helps you value connection in a new light. When you learn how to stand firm on your own, relationships become a genuine choice, not a desperate need. You bond with others from a place of strength, not from fear of being alone. There's a clear line between welcoming support and needing it to function. True independence means being complete within yourself. Any encouragement you receive along the way is a gift, not a necessity. The road to becoming self-reliant isn't paved with ease. You'll face moments filled with uncertainty, isolation, and fear. But those challenges are where your true strength is forged. It's in those testing seasons that you realize just how much you can handle, how far you can stretch, and how resilient you truly are. When you finally reach your goal or overcome the obstacle in front of you, you'll see that walking alone was never a disadvantage. It was preparation for your greatness. So when you find yourself standing without a hand to hold, don't view it as punishment. See it as a rare opportunity, a chance to show yourself that you're not waiting for someone to carry you. You have within you the ability to walk tall, to run fiercely, to soar higher than you thought possible. Independence isn't gifted to anyone. It's built piece by piece, step after step, decision by decision. And when you stand at the summit, looking back over the path you carved through hardships and heartache, you'll know it wasn't by chance or charity. It was because you chose to rise, to be steady, and to move forward alone when it mattered most. Life has a way of challenging us when we least expect it. It shifts circumstances without warning, removing people we thought were permanent. Suddenly, the ground feels unstable, and it's easy to believe you're being swallowed by uncertainty. But within those storms, something powerful is revealed. Your greatest strength doesn't surface during calm waters. It's uncovered when you're standing alone in the chaos, buffeted by life's winds, and you refuse to be moved. Consider the life of Nelson Mandela, 27 years locked away, separated from the world, deprived of the comforts of family and friendship. Picture the relentless quiet, the heavy nights that seemed endless, the crushing weight of injustice trying to smother hope. Many would have crumbled under such pressure, surrendering to bitterness or defeat. But he didn't. He emerged from that long season of solitude not filled with rage, but strengthened by compassion, wisdom, and endurance. His isolation didn't weaken him. It transformed him into one of history's brightest beacons of perseverance. That's the hidden gift of solitude. It strips away the clutter, the noise, the easy outs we often reach for. It places you face to face with yourself, your fears, your doubts, your hopes. In that space, you do the hardest, most meaningful work. You learn not to flee from pain, but to endure it, to grow through it, and to become stronger because of it. You learn to manage anger, refusing to let it control you. Growth comes through hardship because the only real path is straight through it. Strength isn't handed over freely. It isn't a prize someone else can award you. It's built, piece by piece, in those soaring battles when surrender seems tempting, but you choose perseverance instead. When sorrow presses down like a heavy stone, when disappointment brings you to the ground, when betrayal leaves wounds deeper than you expected, these are the points that shape who you are. Not through the hardships themselves, but through the way you respond. Will you allow them to defeat you, or will you turn them into stepping stones towards something stronger inside? Picture yourself standing in the heart of a raging storm, rain slashing down, wind screaming all around, the world spinning in chaos. You could retreat, cover yourself, and hope to wait it out. Or you could stand firm, lift your head, and meet it without flinching. Solitude asks this of you. It calls for you to become your own anchor when everything else feels like it's falling apart. It's about finding peace in the eye of the storm, steadying your breath when fear tries to overtake you, reminding yourself that even the fiercest storms eventually pass. Life won't always be kind. It won't always meet your hopes. People will fall short. Opportunities will slip away. Plans will crumble. Yet your true strength is revealed in how you respond. Too often, we scan the horizon, hoping someone will come fix things, hoping for an easy path forward. But maybe the real answer has been inside you from the beginning. Solitude teaches you to reach deep within, to uncover reserves of strength you didn't realize you possessed. It proves that you're capable beyond measure, not because someone else said so, but because you showed it to yourself. There's a quiet freedom in understanding you don't need anyone else's approval to keep going. When you've braved storms alone, when you've sat with heartache and still found a way to rise with the sun, you earn a calm assurance that no one can strip away. It's not loud or attention-seeking. It's solid, unshakable, a certainty that whatever life hurls at you next, you can withstand it. You already have. You faced the darkness and uncovered your own light. Solitude isn't comfortable. It pulls you into slow reflection, into sitting with feelings you might rather escape. But in that discomfort, transformation begins. You start to recognize the patterns within your own mind, the ways you've chased distractions rather than facing your inner world. And when you stay in that stillness long enough, you start uncovering deeper layers. You confront the fears that have been quietly limiting you. You rewrite the tired narratives of inadequacy, failure, and doubt. And through that work, you reclaim your true strength. Imagine iron in the fire, fierce heat, endless strikes, reshaped until it stands unbreakable. That's what solitude does to the soul. It burns, yes, but it also strengthens, purifies, and reveals. The cracks you bear, the scars you hide, they are not marks of defeat. They are the testament of a spirit that has weathered storms and then emerged stronger. And here lies a deeper truth. When you forge yourself in the fires of hardship, you don't merely endure, you transcend. Trials become mirrors reflecting your strength. Setbacks transform into stepping stones beneath your feet. Fear of failure fades when you realize failure is a teacher, not a tombstone. Every stumble, every rise whispers louder. You are capable. You are resilient. You are powerful beyond measure. Life's trials will continue, that's certain. But with each battle, each lonely road, you hold a choice. You can close yourself off, grow bitter, or you can allow hardship to craft you into someone braver, wiser, more tender-hearted. Someone who doesn't just weather the storm, but emerges sharpened with purpose, walking in light. When Nelson Mandela walked free after 27 years of confinement, he didn't simply find liberty. He stepped into a destiny forged in the silence of prison walls, where resilience grew stronger in the absence of comfort. His story teaches that solitude isn't a punishment. Sometimes it's the very forge where greatness is born. So when life tests you, and it will, remember, true strength is not measured by ease, but by the courage to face loneliness, pain, and fear, and rise anyway. The world roars with countless voices, some lifting, some pulling down, many trying to shape you. It's easy to get lost in the noise, to live a life that belongs to others. But when you step into true solitude, something sacred happens. The noise quiets, the pressure lifts, and you finally hear the one voice that matters, your own. When the masks fall away, when the expectations dissolve, who remains? You! Think about iron. Scorched by fire, hammered hard, shaped again and again until it's unbreakable. That's what solitude does to the human spirit. It pushes you through hardship, but it also makes you stronger, sharper, more real. The scars you carry, they aren't signs of defeat. They are proof you made it through battles that would break others. When you build resilience like that, you don't just endure tough times. You get stronger because of them. Challenges turn into chances to prove your strength. Failures stop being failures. They become steps forward. Every time you fall and rise again, you confirm it. You're stronger than you think. Life will keep coming at you. No doubt about it. But with every hit, every lonely stretch, you get to decide. Will it break you, or will it build you into someone better, wiser, and tougher? Look at Nelson Mandela. After 27 years behind bars, he didn't just leave prison. He stepped into a future he crafted alone, day after day, year after year. He showed that solitude isn't always a trap. Sometimes it's where greatness is forged. So when life knocks you down, and it will, remember this: strength isn't shown by how smooth your path is. It's shown by how you fight through the storms and still stand tall. This world is loud. Voices everywhere trying to tell you who to be, how to live, what matters. It's easy to lose yourself in all that noise. But when you step away, when you let yourself be truly alone, something changes. The noise fades. You stop living for everyone else, and you finally hear the one person you need to listen to: yourself, your calling, your core values, the things that truly ignite your spirit. How often do we find ourselves chasing what the world claims is important? The prestigious job title, the dream house with the perfect view, the relationship that looks flawless to outsiders. But stop for a moment. Do these truly reflect your heart? Or are they just ornaments covering up an emptiness inside? Picture yourself climbing a mountain. At the start, you're surrounded by a crowd: friends, family, co-workers, even strangers. Everyone walking, talking, sharing opinions. And for a time, it feels warm. It feels safe. But as you ascend, the path narrows. Fewer people can walk alongside you. The air gets thinner. The climb becomes tougher. And then, there comes a point where you must keep moving forward alone. Not because you stopped loving the people who are with you, not because they don't matter, but because some parts of the journey were always meant to be traveled by you, and you alone. When you finally reach the summit, when you stand above the noise, something powerful happens. The view sharpens. Distractions fall away. You see life with a clarity you never thought possible. That's the strength of solitude. It strips away the surface level desires, the false expectations, the distractions you once thought were so important. It forces you to ask, what do I truly desire? What sets my soul on fire? Not what your parents expect, not what society pushes, not what gets the most likes or approval, but what connects with the deepest part of who you are. And when you discover that answer, when you lock in on your true purpose, everything changes. You stop chasing what doesn't fill you. You stop living for applause that fades. You start building a life anchored in something real, something lasting. Look at the world changers, the innovators, the leaders, the trailblazers. Every single one of them had moments where they had to step back from the noise. Steve Jobs didn't create a legacy by following the crowd. He made time to think, to dream, to question everything. Oprah Winfrey didn't rise to greatness by doing only what was expected. She carved her own path by first understanding her true calling. Every visionary who left a mark on history walked through seasons where they had to walk alone to find their fire. And yes, walking alone can be uncomfortable. It can test your spirit. It will bring you face to face with your doubts, your fears, your deepest insecurities. But that's where real growth begins. Breakthroughs aren't born in comfort zones. Clarity doesn't come when you're distracted. You have to sit with yourself. You have to ask the tough questions and be bold enough to hear the answers. And when you do, when you truly confront your heart, you start to recognize what matters most. So many people wake up each morning dreading the life they've built. They endure jobs that crush their spirit. They stay in relationships that drain their energy. They follow routines that make them feel numb. Why? Because they never paused long enough to ask, is this the life I was meant to live? They followed the path handed to them without ever questioning where it led. But you're not meant to live on autopilot. You are meant to live with fire, with passion, with purpose. The world doesn't need more people going through the motions. The world needs more people courageous enough to walk alone until they find the life they were truly meant for. Life was never meant to be lived on autopilot. It's meant to be seized with fierce intention, with relentless purpose, with razor-sharp clarity. When you seek out solitude and welcome it instead of running from it, you hand yourself a rare and powerful gift. You create the room to dream without limits, to plan without fear, and to move in alignment with what truly sets your soul on fire. You stop making choices out of fear and start making them out of passion. And when that happens, everything shifts. You start chasing work that fuels your spirit, not just work that fills your pockets. You begin surrounding yourself with people who pour into you, not people who simply fill a space. You start making decisions that electrify you, that pull you out of bed in the morning, that make you feel like you're truly living. And here's the beautiful truth. Once you know what you stand for, you become a force that cannot be moved. Because when your mission burns brighter than the need for approval, when it's deeper than the need for money or recognition, no storm can shake you. You won't be dragged by the tides of opinion. You won't be seduced by passing trends. You'll walk your road with your head held high, knowing each step pushes you closer to something that matters. It's so easy to get trapped, chasing applause, living for attention, craving approval. But none of that brings real peace. None of it matters if you're empty inside. None of it fills the void if your soul is restless. So pull yourself out of the noise, turn your back on the distractions, sit with yourself, hear your own voice again. Because in that stillness, in that silence, the truth you've been desperate to find will finally reveal itself. And when it does, when you finally grasp what you're here to do, you'll never again waste another breath chasing things that don't feed your soul. There comes a moment where the noise dies, the crowd vanishes, and you're left standing alone. And that silence, it terrifies most people. Because with no distractions left, you're forced to look in the mirror. No filters, no applause, just raw truth. But listen carefully, don't run. Don't numb yourself with distractions. Don't fill the silence with meaningless noise. Step into it, own it, because inside that silence is your greatest power. Your creativity, your clarity, your resilience, your independence. It's in the quiet that you find out who you are without the world telling you who you should be. Life has a brutal way of testing you when you least expect it. Friends walk away without warning. Opportunities slip through your fingers. Doors slam shut. You find yourself in a room alone, wondering if you have what it takes to keep breathing, to keep moving forward. And it's right there, in that brutal, lonely space, that something extraordinary awakens. You realize you are made of more than you thought. You were never built to lean on others for your strength. While companions may walk with you for a while, there will be parts of the road where it's just you. And that's exactly where you discover your true power. Think back over your life. When did the breakthroughs happen? When did the flashes of brilliance strike? It wasn't when the world was shouting around you. It wasn't when everyone had an opinion about your life. It happened in the quiet, in the shower, on a silent walk, lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. That solitude wasn't an accident. It was a sacred space carved out so you could finally hear your own spirit speaking. Don't waste that sacred silence. Protect it. Lean into it. And let's speak the truth about resilience. Life will come swinging. It will hit harder than you ever thought possible. You'll lose people you counted on. Dreams will crumble. Plans will fall apart. But here's the truth no one talks about. Your greatest strength is built when the world goes quiet and you're left standing in the rubble, choosing to rise anyway. The people who inspire you, they didn't get there by avoiding pain. They faced the fire. They stayed when it hurt. They kept going without a single person clapping. Resilience isn't something handed to you. It's something you forge in the loneliest, hardest moments when no one is watching and you refuse to break. Solitude also forges true independence, the kind that doesn't wait for a lifeline or crave constant validation. Think of someone training for a marathon. No one else can run the miles for them. They rise before the sun and lace up their shoes and pound the pavement alone. Every mile conquered, every drop of sweat, every ounce of exhaustion, it's all proof that real strength comes from within. Solitude has a way of revealing who you truly are. It shows you that you're capable on your own, that you don't need to sit around waiting for someone else to come to your rescue. You step up. You become the hero in your own story. You find the solutions. You take the necessary steps forward. And when you finally reach your personal finish line, whatever that may look like, you'll know deep inside, you earned every bit of it. Not because someone else carried you, but because you found the strength to carry yourself. Then comes the clarity, the kind that only emerges when the noise fades away. We live in a world constantly tugging at our attention. Social media tries to shape our image. Friends share their expectations. Society paints its own version of success. But when you remove yourself from all that, when you sit quietly without distractions, another voice starts to rise. The voice within, the one that knows what truly matters to you. That voice will lead you toward your real purpose, toward your values, toward your dreams. It reminds you that you weren't made to chase approval. You were made to live with meaning, with direction, and with a clear heart. And then there's self-awareness. Solitude holds up a mirror you can't turn away from. It shows you the victories, yes, but also the struggles, the fears, the weaknesses you tend to hide. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's essential. You can't change what you refuse to confront. You can't heal if you're too busy covering up the hurt. Time alone gives you the space to ask the real questions. Who am I becoming? What do I truly want? What's standing in my way? And most importantly, what steps am I willing to take? Yes, some people will walk out of your life. Yes, you might sit in silence more often than you expected. But remember, you entered this world on your own, and you'll leave it the same way. What happens in between, how you carry yourself, how you choose to live, becomes your legacy. The applause will eventually quiet. The crowds will fade away. But your relationship with yourself, that remains. Strengthen it, honor it. Build a foundation within yourself that you can always rely on. Let solitude be your safe place, your training ground, your fountain of strength. Don't fear being alone. Welcome it, value it. Because it's in those still moments when the world falls silent and you are left alone with your thoughts that something powerful becomes clear. You've had the strength all along. You don't need another person to validate you, to complete you, or to tell you that you are worthy. You are already enough. You always have been. And the greatest power you can ever tap into is the one that has been inside you from the beginning. Not something found outside, not borrowed from someone else, but something born within you. Once you find that well of resilience, creativity, independence, and self-awareness, nothing will be too much for you. No storm will overwhelm you. No goal will seem unreachable. So the next time you find yourself alone, don't rush to fill the silence. Pause, breathe, listen, because within that stillness lies your truth. Within that quiet stands your greatest power. And once you claim it, once you truly own it, you'll walk through life with a strength no one can shake. Because you'll know, without a doubt, you've got your own back. And that kind of strength, that is unbreakable. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect. And if you're ready, share it with someone who needs a reminder of their own strength today.